Tonight, Tony Abbott was back in the seat where his ambition to lead the nation went off the rails. The town of Gloucester is a formerly staunchly conservative electorate that turned its back on the coalition and elected independent Rob Oakeshott, who helped deliver government to Julia Gillard. Tony Abbott dropped in on the voters of Lyne to try to convince them to go with him next time. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton caught up with the leader of the opposition on the road.
Tony Abbott's back on the road again, passing through the northern New South Wales electorates of New England and Lyne, electorates that denied him the nation's top job. He says he's here by coincidence.
And the best cycle route from Brisbane to Sydney takes you through these areas.
Still, you wouldn't be a politician if you didn't do some politicking on the way, I suppose. And look, this seat did cost you essentially government. You'd be pretty keen to get it back?
Look, let's wait and see what happens at the next election.
Nestled in prime agricultural land about 100 kilometres off the coast, Gloucester's classic Nationals country. But the electorate of Lyne, which includes Gloucester, was part of the groundswell that voted out John Howard in 2008, installing independent Rob Oakeshott. He carried the seat again last year and delivered government to Julia Gillard in a hung parliament. It wasn't a popular decision with some, especially in Gloucester.
What I hear over the counter is the fact that people are pretty much opposed to the carbon tax, and as far as Oakeshott goes, well, what the media says is sold out, and that's pretty much how people read it,
So when you say over the counter, what sort of, at a rough poll, what sort of percentage would be going with that view?
Oh, in this town would be pretty much 90% probably.
I know I don't like him because he reneged. I voted for Rob Oakeshott, but I wouldn't vote for him again.
When you say he reneged, how do you mean?
Because he went Labor, and I actually thought he was being on our side.
You read too many papers.
I do not.
Why do you say that? Does she read too many papers?
He does.
Because I think Rob's a good man.
Relaxing at the local bowls club after his bike ride, Tony Abbott's hoping to channel anti-Rob Oakeshott sentiment into his own political messages.
I hope that on one issue in particular, both Rob Oakeshott and Tony Windsor listen to their electorates, and that's the carbon tax, because the message that I've been getting loud and clear over the last few days is that country people think this tax is toxic, and I think that if Rob and Tony want to redeem themselves with their voters, this would be a good place to start.
Comments like that have put the opposition leader offside with Rob Oakeshott. He stopped taking weekly meetings with Tony Abbott, saying the opposition's undermining him while trying to do business with him at the same time. The issue goes back to the post-election period when the opposition leader's negotiating skills let him down and former Liberal Mr Oakeshott sided with Labor.
I guess you can always do better, but I was as available as anyone could possibly be.
But Mr Abbott will feel vindicated if Mr Oakeshott's decision to side with Labor ultimately brings the seat of Lyne back into the coalition fold.
In the end, really, it's up to electorates to judge their members, and they do it to us all the time.
To an extent, Tony Abbott's preaching to the choir here in Gloucester. This is a town still with strong ties to the National Party. If he's to win this seat back for the coalition, it's voters in the urban centres closer to the coast like Port Macquarie who he'll have to convince. Tom Eagleton in Gloucester for Lateline.